I mean, modern ethic at its root is basically just that it's modern, which is the style that I cannot help myself but make. I can't do anything but modern. It just wouldn't be true to me if I tried to do a different style. And ethic was just really just echoing that. The strong set of feelings I have about how trees, forests, wood is procured and how sustainable the practices are around that, as well as the labor among people who build parts and other things. It was me trying to get at a higher standard for furniture products. And it feels like to me very little thought or actual care goes into choosing species of wood for their sustainability, or choosing finishes not for their durability, but finishes for their low environmental impact. I don't think people buy my products because they're expecting the pure perfection of something that comes from a huge factory that has this top of the line equipment. Like, I'm a guy making stuff in my shop on a machine that I designed and built entirely myself. I don't know, there's a personalness to it, you know? Like, I made every single part, and I think at the end of the day, it's about having a product that is at the quality that I'm comfortable giving to my customers. So this is a 3/4 inch plywood that I use that is made down in Oregon, and it uses a soy adhesive, which is great because it's natural based. It uses maple veneer on the faces of it, which is from the Pacific Northwest. And then the inside of it's like fir and pine and things like that. I mean, it's really hard actually to find a plywood that is affordable enough for me to make with my stuff, and is also high enough quality to use, and is also sourced in the US. I'm trying to be selective about those things. I try and choose sources that are FSC certified, you know, that at least come from sustainable forests. And also I have concerns about some of the labor practices in other countries, and so the best way for me to do right by at least my own conscience is to choose American-made stuff when possible. Yeah, this is one of those situations where it'd be nice to have help, but I don't have help, and you gotta work alone, learn to make it work. So I'm gonna set this guy down. Just gonna square this up on the table. I'm watching it very closely. I used to use a sheet of paper, and I would slide a piece of paper underneath the cutter. And once it caught the paper, then I knew I was 3/1000ths above the top of the board. I used to get really absorbed on my efficiency. Like, I gotta be more efficient. But I've taken a change in the past maybe 8-9 months where I don't think so much about perfect efficiency of myself as a human or of my processes. I think more about just getting good quality. And I always zero off the top of my stock. Yeah, I mean, so the machine is a homemade machine, and because of that, a little bit of the quirks of the machine come out in the products that I make. but I work so hard to make everything as good as it can possibly be. I think people want somebody, like a real person, building their stuff. It's handmade furniture with this like constant pursuit of higher quality. I'm advertising modern Danish style furniture, and I think that people expect a level of perfection that I'm always trying to get towards. All right, so basically what I'm doing here is aligning both halves here. I've got pins in it that tell it exactly where to be. Making sure everything fits. And I make sure that this guy fits and the crack looks good and even. Okay, so at this point, this is called a dry fit, when you just check and make sure everything fits and everything makes sense. I'll go ahead and glue. In this chair really tells a story in some ways at the beginning of my business. I wanted a chair for my own modern tastes for my home, and I needed a new dining chair. And I was looking further, and everything else that was cool and modern and different was really expensive. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to afford that. Then it just came what can I make? So I started sketching and modeling, and the chair has a lightness that I really wanted. It has a pretty minimalist aesthetic. There's no extra frills. Everything is flush trimmed. It's really clean, nice light wood. It looks really pleasing at the dinner table. It's just everything that I wanted personally in a chair. And now we're ready to go into the house and do the chair glue up. For me, I spend a lot of time thinking about my product. I design the products so they fit in standard boxes and so that they ship relatively flat. All of that pre-thought means that I can make a product that is more affordable for people, which is something that I care about. I'm in the house here because although I can do this in the shop, and for many reasons I prefer to do it in the shop, a lot of my time is spent sharing childcare responsibilities. And when I do this type of work inside the house, that means that I can be interrupted and I can help with things, and it doesn't just put all that time on my partner. So, I think my ideal customers in many ways is people who feel the same way that I do. That's my ideal customer. It's somebody who cares about modern design and likes to have something different. Also, it's somebody who wants to support a small business that thinks that that's important, that believes that choosing people who are local to them is important for keeping business going from their neighbors. I think that there's a lot of appetite for real quality things that you can count on to last for a long time, and that you can be proud of owning, and that have an end of sort of life cycle plan, that this is made out of wood, and the wood glue is soy-based, and this someday will go into the earth from where it came, and I think that is supporting that type of products is important. I think my goal in all things is to be kind to my body and to be kind to the earth. And so that means, when I think of the food that I want to eat, I I'm thinking about foods that are as like natural and unaltered as I can, you know, just because I think that that is one of the best ways to do right by your body, and also the same thing for the earth, you know. And so I want to believe that I'm putting really good ingredients into my body because it's the only thing I've got. You know, there's a parallel to the furniture I make, right? Like, I care a lot about making it from as pure ingredients as possible, and that's so that when the day comes where it's no longer wanted by the people that own it, that it can go to a landfill or whatever, and it's not going to be one of those things that lasts for 1,000 years. Like, it's going to deteriorate. I want to use the stuff that is the friendliest possible, you know? I don't want my products to go into people's homes and then be off-gassing for days as they have it in their homes. You know, like, I don't know about you, but I've bought stuff that was shipped from overseas, and I opened the box and I could smell it. And I could smell it, and it was so strong, right? And when you're smelling it, you're ingesting it, like you're taking that inside your body. And so when you take my stuff out of the box, like there's no smell. And it's because it off-gasses in the minutes following the application of the finish. And it's off-gassing the best possible materials that it can, because I use 0 VOC finishes. So those are, VOCs are volatile organic compounds. And in a nutshell, the less of those you can get, the more friendly the product you're using is for yourself and for the environment. 3 years ago, I started designing the machine, and it took me about a year to get it designed and built and be testing my first products. And then 2 years ago, I was cutting my first products. About a year ago, I started selling for the first time. But more than anything, like I'm actualizing that dream that I've set for myself, you know, 5, even 10 years ago, where I said, like, I'm not gonna spend my life in this cubicle. I refuse to believe that my value and my contribution to this world is gonna be through staring at a screen. Like, it's not the way that I wanna experience life. That's a long answer to modern ethic is me stating, this is what I make and this is how I make it.